Only on Fox 4, a piece of living history is flying in the skies over Punta Gorda throughout the weekend. The Experimental Aircraft Association's B-25 Mitchell, nicknamed the Berlin Express, will be open for people to take ground and air tours all weekend.
It's going to be awesome. In fact, meteorologist Andrew Shipley took a ride in the historic aircraft and found out why keeping these old warbirds flying is so important.
A piece of living history. The B-25 Mitchell first took flight in 1941, taking missions in both theaters of World War II. The bomber might be best known for taking part in Doolittle's raid, when Army bombers took off Navy carriers to bomb Tokyo after the attack on Pearl Harbor.
They were all volunteers. Every one of them knew it was going to be a one-way trip. They didn't know how they were going to land, where they're going to land, whether they were going to be alive.
Pilot Tom Ewing says without these brave pilots, the outcome of the war might have been much different, changing Japan's whole war strategy.
They knew they were vulnerable, so they held back 4 fighter groups that otherwise would have gone out in the Pacific, taking more and more territory. They had to extend their defensive perimeter, and they extended it all the way to this place called Midway.
EAA is sharing this flying history museum with the public through the weekend at Punta Gorda, something Ewing says honors the World War II pilots that flew before him. While the B-25 is flying in the skies above, down below, volunteers are working on another plane, one of the last flying B-17s. Ewing says without the folks here in Punta Gorda, that plane might have never flown again.
When that happens, every one of these airplanes will eventually not be able to fly anymore. They'll go in a museum. When that happens, the only history that anybody's going to know about these airplanes is what you can put on a small display sign in front of them.
Ewing says the B-17 will take about a year to restore here in Punta Gorda, but when it flies again, there will not be a dry eye in sight, knowing how much work went into it. In Punta Gorda, Andrew Shipley, Fox 4.
So if your interest is peaked now, or you'd like to look or fly at the B-25, still tickets available all throughout the weekend. We have that information. Just connect with fox4now.com.